There we go. We're well. What happened to Idella? She's got no connection.
She probably got no clothes on either.
Well, we're live.
Adela, come back so we can see you.
I don't know what she's doing.
I heard her.
Said no connection. That's always it's always iffy when somebody's in the truck. Yeah, yeah, and you know I don't know. And I'll tell you what, our power. There she is. She back.
I
She back.
see her.
Speak. Can we hear you? Can you hear us?
Right.
Yeah, she's having trouble. We've had trouble. We've had a lot of trouble with. We've lost power here a couple times. So if I suddenly blink out, if the whole thing goes black, don't be shocked. That's just been. I live out in the middle of nowhere,
Mm.
Tennessee. Yeah, she's out and about. I wanted to get on here. I wanted it because I made a few posts. I saw that post yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before that Tara was out of money?
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, with all the good people that we help, promoting and doing this and doing that, surely we can raise some money to help truck drivers.
Well,
That
you would think people would be willing to donate more often, but it's just not happening. I mean, I understand times are hard for a lot of people, but the gentleman that I posted his GoFundMe, um, he still isn't out of Wisconsin, and the motel is charging him $89 a night, but he still needs help just to get home. And there's nothing we can do to help him right now except for honor his GoFundMe.
wow.
20
See,
years. Go ahead.
the main thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, and I got weather flashing at me on the screen, so I don't know. I don't know if anybody. Let me see if anybody can even see us. Let me see. Yeah. Um, it might be a bad night, guys. I mean, it's
Can you see us?
yeah, yeah, we're good.
Oh, my daughter's checking out to see if she can see us.
Yeah, we're on. So far, we're on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay.
That's a good start. We'll get a
It
bunch.
is.
We'll get some stuff going. Let me turn this volume down. There we go. Um, Adela's in a rough spot.
Well, I hope she comes back.
Now I can hear. I'm back.
She's here now. She's
Okay.
here now.
Yeah, I had to go into settings and go to my hotspot.
That happened.
So,
Every time I get Joe Denny on here, he has to do something. I don't know what it is, but it only takes him about a minute to figure it out, and then we're all that live and good to go. Um,
all right.
I want to talk about Tara, and I want to ask you a couple of questions, you guys, while I got you on here. Um, and I want to be clear with everybody. This is not. It's not like some arbitrary thing where you guys just, if somebody does something stupid, fails a drug screen or runs over a car or something like that, we just send everybody money. That's not the case.
That's not how it works.
Yeah. Somebody say, hi, all our favorite people are on tonight. Who is that? That's Jess Graham. Yes, I sent you an invitation. Check your DMs. Anyway, I want to make sure everybody understands that it's not just when they send in a donation, it's not just up for grabs. So, Michelle, tell us how it works. When you get a call, tell us what you do.
Okay, first we make sure their application is filled out, and then we talk to the driver, and What we do is abandon drivers. We don't do just, you know, I left my job and now I can't get home. They have to be abandoned by their company for the most part. And then we call the driver and get his side of the story. We call the company and see if somebody there will talk to us and tell us their side of the story. And then we try to figure out how best to help them if they're telling the truth. Now, we had 19 so far this year that haven't told the truth. And you just tell them you can't help them.
And I'm not doing this just for drama. I don't do that. Everybody knows that. But what kind of stories do they tell you? I mean, what do they come up with?
Idella, you just had one, and the guy applied to another group that we have friends in, and he has a long criminal record, and he said a stranger paid for his motel. You want to tell him that one?
Yeah. When we started investigating it, he said he was there with his 9 month old baby and his girlfriend. Well, come to find out, the company had tried to help him, but he didn't have custody of his 9 month old baby. It wasn't with him at all. Then when we started looking, yeah, he said that a stranger had paid for his motel room, and come to find out it was the company that had paid for it, and that they had tried to help him several times. I'm sorry, I'm trying to multitask. Um, and then the town and went to checking, and he had 4 warrants for his arrest, out for his arrest, and 2 of them were sexual. So just had to tell him after talking to it, and the company had really tried to help him, and I kind of fussed at him. I said, where was your due diligence, in hiring this gentleman and spending a lot of money on him? And Jen said, well, I just started in my position as safety director. But that was one of the lies. He lied about who was with him, what they needed to get home, and they always want to take everything home with him. But that was the one lie. People that are with him, how they actually got in trouble and got fired from the company. He wasn't abandoned at all. He just was. He was a bad character. So, and I know I sound like an idiot, but that's just one of the few things that they tell you. They don't always tell you, and a lot of people don't. They don't tell you the whole story. And then some of them don't tell you enough, do they, Michelle? They don't tell you how
That's
bad it
correct.
really is. But they always want you to take all their stuff. The biggest problem we have is they got their dogs with them. So that's a no go on the bus ride or the airplane. Um, so now they want you to rent them a U-Haul because they got a microwave and they've got this and they've got that, and they just don't understand the cost of that, sending them home and replacing it. It's a lot cheaper to replace it than it is to haul it home. But they don't ever want to give that stuff up or leave it behind or ship it. Do you know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
are, and the biggest thing is they want us to rent them a car. They don't have any credit, so they don't have a credit card. Well, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't rent them a car. They can rent a car and we can pay for it, but we can't rent them a car. That we just can't do that.
I mean,
So
is that something you would do if somebody want rent a car to go home? You would pay for it?
we have,
Yeah.
we have, we have paid for the gas and given them some food too. Sometimes, then sometimes we get these that keep doing the same thing over and over again and
Yeah.
keep calling us back wanting them to bail them out again, and we just have to tell them that I'm sorry, we just can't do that. You keep The one guy we helped out in, this was a couple years ago, in Texas, and I actually met him there at Texas and gave him the money for the motel, and he got on with another company and he went up to New Jersey, and then he flunked the damn drug test and wanted us to help him get home. And
Yep.
sorry, can't do, no can do.
I
So
don't. I don't. I do get it. I see people every day on social media, and here we are on social media talking about this. Um, some people just know how to play the system. I see people on social media, and they just they don't have any compunction whatsoever about getting on there and say, uh, I'm having kind of a hard month right now, and I got 2 baby mamas, and I got this. I get it. Could you guys please send me $100? And
Yeah.
I guess there are people that do that. I don't know. I don't know.
oh yeah, Oh, absolutely. We get them all the time. We've had a hard month. I've had a hard 2 months,
Yeah.
or I've had these bills. Can you help us? And of course, that's we don't have those kind of funds. In fact,
No.
we're they have tapped us out. Now Michelle has all the figures. She knows where to look, and I don't. But we have spent a pretty good chunk of change this year so far.
So far, we've had 77 applications, which is the total amount we had all of last year was 77. And money has been, we've paid out $18,000 plus we've paid out for an attorney and a tax person and the funds for filing a grant or whatever, their grant filing money, whatever that is. Um, so altogether, we're
Application
over
fees.
20. Yeah, application fee. Sorry, we're over $20,000, and that was the whole budget for the year.
Wow.
We're not getting responses when we're asking for donations. They're just so few and far between.
What do you and we got to think up something about that. We got to do something. I don't care if it's $5 Friday. I don't know. We need to do something because and that's why I wanted to get you guys on here and talk about this. How you do it, what your process is, because I want people to understand. If they make a donation, they're not just throwing money at people that call and want money. That's not what you're doing. That's not.
No, not at all.
What about these companies that leave these drivers stuck out there? I mean, are you seeing like is it the same people or
We had the same company from Chicago strand two drivers. One driver, they stranded him right here in Salt Lake City where I live, and it was because he was um, accosted by another driver at a shipper's, and he called the police. Well, this company is in so much trouble now that they just terminated the driver, and somebody took him to the truck stop because they didn't want any police involvement. They didn't want their name in it. Nothing. And unfortunately, there's a lot of Russians, Middle Eastern people, stuff like that in the Chicago area. That seems to be a really big hit for us right now. And I'm not being racist, and none of that matters to me. But it just seems like they don't care because they've got somebody else in the shadow they can throw in that truck.
yeah, they promise them $1 a mile or 80 cents a
Yeah.
mile. I've been through that. People will call me and ask me for a job, and I'll say, well, okay, here's what we do. We do this, we do that, and here's how much we pay. Oh no, I can get a job with one of those companies out of Chicago making 90 cents a mile. I've
And they're
never seen
paid on
that.
a 1099. And what happens with a 1099 driver? We had one little gal that she kept every pay stub that she had, and when she got her tax papers at the end of the year, the company had said they'd paid her over $30,000 more than they paid her. So they're hiding money.
Yeah,
And it's the same. Some of these guys are running it off on a 1099 because they owe child support or something similar to that. That's a stupid way to do business. And they're the most likely, probably 75-80% of our drivers that call, they're working on a 1099.
I do usually ask the driver when I'm interviewing the first, are you 1099 or W-2? And then when they say they're 1099, then I ask them why.
What are
And
you
often,
hiding?
very often, why are you 1099? Well, I'll make more money. I said, well, somebody told you a lie. And I'm not saying 1099 is not a way to go. I don't, I don't like it. But well, somebody's after me for child support. Well, that's a big red flag. Big red flag. I don't want. I owe taxes, and if I get money on taxes, they'll take my money. So that's a red flag right there for us.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I've had people that want both. I've had people that want a W-2. I have people that want a 1099, and I had to go. I had to do battle with the IRS one year. It was a long, long, long time ago, 15 years ago probably. And the IRS called me up because somebody that had worked for me had problems, and they called and blamed it on me. So the IRS called me, and we did go to court, and I won. And there's a certain criteria that you have to meet, a certain criteria that you have to follow if somebody's going to be a contractor. We all know now that in California that doesn't exist anymore. I don't
Nope.
Nope.
know. I don't know if other states have adopted it or not. If they haven't, they will. Um, but I've had drivers that want both, and I have one driver. Her aunt was a CPA, and her aunt had figured out with per diem and all this other stuff that if she got her money on a 1099, she could save her money at tax time, which she did. But this kid she was absolutely meticulous about every penny she spent. She could account for, every dime she ever had. She was so tight she could back up to a wall, suck a brick out of it. But now,
Well, sometimes, and it's not, I was an S corporation when I had my own company and paid myself. And there are some ways around it. But the biggest thing we're finding with 1099, they got hurt on the job, and the company abandoned them on the side of the road because they got hurt and they needed to go to the doctor. Well, now, no workman's comp. They didn't have any workman's comp. Well, you're a contractor. You're responsible for that. What's the other thing you don't get? Oh, well, it came at the end of the year. Oh, now I owe all these taxes. I didn't think I was going to owe taxes. Well, not only do you owe taxes, you owe the other side of the Social Security too. Duh.
and you get to be my age, and we've already covered that, Idella, before we got everybody on here. When you get to be my age, that Social Security comes in right handy.
Yes, definitely.
Uh,
That, and there's no doubt. There's no doubt that. And Michelle can tell you, both of us have taken money out of our pockets to help folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And sometimes we get paid back, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't expect it. We work
But
real hard raising funds.
I think what we need to do, I really do, and I'll do whatever you guys want to do to help out. You know that, but I think we need to focus on, raising funds and maybe try to find some steady folks that will chip in a little bit. And guys, if this podcast will go out, and by the end of the week it'll hit 10,000, 11,000 people. If those people sent $5, that
yeah,
$5, that puts everything back on the clock and back in business again. And for all these people out there wanting your money and advertising, and they want to sell you something, and they want you to buy this and buy that. For all these people that are out there doing it, surely as an industry, and we preach this, I know you guys do, and that's why I love you so much, but we preach this all the time. We got to help each other.
that's
Nobody
right.
else, nobody else is out there helping us. And
Well, and it's just not a matter of getting these abandoned people home. It's educating them and helping them understand. And the folks that are starting out in the industry that and the biggest problem I have is, well, I've got a microwave, I've got this, I've got that, and I'm going, it's cheaper to replace it than set it home. But their attitude, well, you're paying for me to go home. Why should I worry about it? And the whole point of it is, and the biggest thing, if you got an animal in the truck, you need to plan. You need to plan how you're going to get home if something happens. I mean, we feel terrible, and we look to Operation Roger, which is another group I'm part of, to help get the animals home, but we don't always have somebody in the right place at the right time.
you don't.
It's difficult. It's very difficult.
No. And don't carry anything in your truck you can't part with, somebody said, a comment. Yeah, but people are gonna. They're gonna.
Well, and I would never ask somebody to give up their animal that's been on the truck with them
No.
for many, many
Oh
years. There's
no.
there's no way I would give mine up. I would walk home first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
me too. But as you said, don't that you wouldn't part with, and they just it's kind of like the person that moves and buys a storage unit and puts all the stuff in the storage unit and then never uses it for the next 20 years. You've been better getting rid of it and buy new if that's what you needed to do.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
same
just,
thing. But
I just, I don't know. I've tried, and I hear these guys talking about, I sacrifice it. I sacrifice. Oh, nobody loves me. I hear that shit. I hear that shit. There's even a group on Facebook. It's big. It's big. we're disrespected. I've been doing this not as long as some people, but I've been doing it a while, since 1979, and I always considered it a privilege. I still do. I still do. I always considered it a privilege to be out there driving the truck. I always made a good living for my family. I went out and back. I was not one of these guys that went out there and lived in the truck for 3 or 4 months. I never did that. I never would. I went out, came back, went out, came back. And when the kids needed me, or the family needed me home, I was home. So
Exactly.
yeah, and I planned it that way. And honestly, I never had any trouble getting a job ever. Even back when, there were waiting lists for trucking companies, the opposite of what it is now. But planning is a big thing. Getting yourself set up. Uh, if you've got all this stuff and a dog in the truck, anything can happen. I mean,
Ev-
anything
Yes,
can happen. And I hope it doesn't. Everybody does. I hope it never, ever, ever happens. But if you've got all these belongings and all this stuff in your truck and a pet, you're, I mean, you're just you've pushed it out past the edge. If something bad does happen, you're in trouble. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. But getting back to what you guys do, it sounds to me like you do your due diligence every time you get an application. You work your ass off trying to, get the deal resolved. Michelle, you were telling me yesterday you even call the companies and talk to them, and
I
most of,
do.
most of the time they're just rude, hang up on you. But
Well, a lot of them will talk to me, and that's how you find out that you got a liar in the group. And they have sent me copies of the money that they have sent them, like a Western Union or a Cash App or something like that. They have sent me a photocopy of the money that they have sent this driver that's begging for help, and he's lying.
yeah,
And I want to never be too cynical to think that everybody that I talk to wouldn't be telling me the truth at some point. But when you know they're lying, you just call them back and you say, hey, you didn't tell the truth about this or that or the other thing, and we're not going to be able to help you.
yeah, that's it. That's long and
And
short.
and sometimes you're surprised, that the story they told was so convincing, and then you talk to the owner or the dispatch or the safety director, and I've had them refuse to talk to me, but then I had some others that was very grateful for what he told me, and the story the guy was telling was so far fetched, and then it changed when I called him back. Well, then it changed. I said, well, we're just, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that gentleman sent us some money, but. And we do ask them, to share us on social media and make a testimony. We, what was the guy said? We helped him get home, and then when we asked him to do a testimonial, he wanted us to pay him, Michelle.
That's right. And it's like, yeah, I had bad words about that, but that's what he said. Yeah, you guys got us home. You spent $700, $800 getting me home, but I need paid for a testimonial, which is pure bullshit.
Oh, yeah,
People got a
yeah.
lot of nerve. People got a lot of nerve. A lot of nerve.
Oh man, let him call again, okay? See
Yeah,
what happens.
yeah, yeah.
And we've
It,
had them come back. We've got two or three that come back, and their names change a little bit. We've
uh-huh.
got a repeat. What we got one couple that's a repeat offender in a lot of groups, and we have to watch out for them. And wait a minute, that sounds familiar. Wait a
It,
minute.
it,
Oh, we
yes.
got up here and got for orientation, and we're out of gas. It's a gal and her husband. I don't know how many times that they've tried to get us to help them.
Or they came back in just last week, and they came onto the
Oh,
Utah trucking mob, and they wanted money, and I called them out on it. I mean, I said, no, this is who you are, and this is what you're doing, and why don't you get a job and work? You're wasting too much of people's time and energy.
Why should they get a job when they got people all over the country sending them free money?
Well, I'm making sure that I can
And
do all I can to get the word out.
people do that. People do
Yep,
that.
they do.
And
and
people
and
call
and
people.
if we accidentally give somebody money that shouldn't have it, then that means down the road, just like now, we have somebody that calls that really could have used help, and we can't help them.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
And
Well,
we still try. Michelle's been really great. She's been home, and I've been under the gun with the house and all this sort of stuff. But it takes, and I have to be honest with you. Michelle can tell you, I have sat at needed to go to bed, sitting at the office, vetting somebody, and Brian can testify. Sometimes it takes 3 and 4 hours
oh,
Oh yeah.
sometimes
to
it takes 2 days just because people won't talk to you or they don't have a credit card. This is the number one piece of advice. Get a flipping credit card. Get your credit up where you can, or start with a prepaid credit card and charge a little bit, pay it off every month until you can get a regular credit card. Because there's no car rental places that's going to rent you a car without a credit card.
Nope. Nobody. They used to do it. They used to do it if you had a debit card. I don't think they do that anymore.
They won't anymore.
I I I
Dollar Car
oh
Rental used
yeah,
to do it with a debit card.
that guy that lied to us about the baby, he had
Oh, dang it.
I think that was going to be a good story
all
too.
this figured out, buddy.
She's back.
Oh yeah, it was. But he before we even got set through, of course, now he has my phone number, and he sent me snapshots of everything about how he could go rent that car on a debit card. Just had to make a deposit of so many hundreds of dollars first, and I thought, nah, you can stuff that, buddy. Oh,
Yeah, we know.
sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
In fact, I think those. I'm not real sure, but the other lady that investigated him, or whatever groups he applied to, a couple of groups that found out. I think maybe he didn't have to worry about his trip back to Michigan. I mean, trip back home. Excuse
Well,
me.
you remember that, and I'll use his first name, Brandon. He had $10,000 in the frickin' bank, and he didn't have a credit card, and he wanted us to get him home. And he was going to have his grandma rent him a car at the airport. Unreal. Unreal.
But he didn't have a credit card. He had $10,000 in the bank, but he didn't have a credit card and wanted us to pay to get him home.
Man. All right. So what do we do? How are we going to get some of these good people that we got in all these groups around? We're in Shaggy's group tonight, and he's sharing it around. I can see it popping up on my screens. How are we going to
You
get?
know,
How are we going to get some people to chip in a little money and keep this thing going? Because it's a good thing. I mean, we've covered that. We spent the last 30 minutes talking about it.
Well,
well, and when
go
I
ahead.
think the $5 Friday is a good idea, maybe $5 a month. Anything will help, but I want you to know that none of us draw any money off of this. Michelle,
No.
me, Desiree, none of us draw any money. We don't get paid for that. We donate a lot of our own time and our own stuff for that. So anything we do, our time, our brain cells, which some of mine are dead now.
Our pencils and paper.
Yeah,
And Lord knows I
yeah.
go through a lot of that, but really, I think that if they share it around, you go to cdltier.org/donate. There's a donate button on there. You can send us a little money. I still have that gentleman in Wisconsin that my heart is so broken because I spent so much time trying to help him, and then to find out we didn't have enough funds to do anything with. And he does have a little oh Lord, he does have a little bit money put aside. He does have a new job prospect that he wants to go to, that he's checked out, and we gave him suggestions of how to check out companies, and I mean, put the company
What's that website again? Tell it to me again.
on the Safer Web. You mean you can go to
No,
Safer?
for Tear.
No.
Oh, cdltier.org/donate.
Let me see if I can make this work. I might can. I don't know.
I can't see it because we're talking to you, so I can't look on my phone for information. But it, it would be
CD
so helpful.
CDL tier, TEAR .org/donate.
Yep.
Mm.
I got everything here except one thing I'm missing. Hold on. I get it in a minute. Anyway, y'all keep talking about it. That's what we're on here to do is
We,
talk about it.
you, Frank, Michelle, and we did well with that one quilt. What about, can we do, are we allowed to do a raffle on Facebook or online? I have a really nice quilt that I've dug up that we might could do a raffle, but I don't know if we're allowed to do that sort of thing.
I am not tech savvy enough to figure it out, but I'll work on that. I'd be glad to work on that.
Oh yeah, I know how to do it online. I did. You remember? Do you remember? I did that. I did two of them for for RWIT when we did the cruise,
Uh huh.
and I know how to do it online and in person. I mean, it takes a little bit of book work for me, but I don't know if we're allowed to do that.
Well, I don't know why we wouldn't be. And Idella makes the most gorgeous quilts. I had to
Oh,
get one for my daughter for Christmas off of the Christmas. What's that? Truckers Christmas Fund. They had the
Truckers Christmas
auction.
group. Yeah.
Yeah, they had an auction, and I had to get my daughter this particular quilt that Idella made. Let me tell you, I didn't know that was going to be able to happen.
I tell you, Michelle, we got to get you back over here in the southeast because I wasn't gonna bring this up because it's kind of personal. It's kind of like a thing. But ever since we got Idella on the liver mush, I mean, just look at how her eyes sparkle now. I mean, she is just like a whole nother person, and she been going all this time right to the truck stop where they serve it and not knowing about it, not getting it, and just thank the good Lord above. I told her about it one day. I said, Idella, sometimes I drive all the way over. I have got on my motorcycle in Nashville, Tennessee, and rode over there just for a liver mush and scrambled egg breakfast. Just, but
Huh?
I mean, her hair.
So we get Michelle on liver mush and get her ankle healed up, huh?
Oh my God, please.
Oh, that'll be just. You'll wake up the next morning and go, "Oh my God, I can walk." Oh,
I can walk. I just have a big hole in my foot. But let me tell you a quick story about Van Brown. Okay. Idella told me that she was his sometime sweetheart or something, and I went over to his booth and I bought me some bull snot, which I love that product anyway. I bought bull snot many times, but I went over to the booth and I asked him if I could be his part-time girlfriend, and he told me no.
Yeah, he kept introducing me to everybody as his girlfriend, and I finally had to tell him. I said, "Well, that was news to me. I didn't know anything about it."
That's a nice hat, Frank, but I haven't got a hat. I haven't got a kiss. I haven't got a kiss my ass, a howdy do, nothing. Idella's his woman.
well,
Yeah, I wish. I wish.
he's funny. I will tell you what. I'll tell you what. The best of all of his stuff, and I love it all, and I love Van. Van does a lot of stuff for this industry a lot of people don't know about because
Or he does.
Oh,
he never talks about it, he never brings it up, and if you ask him about it, he'll deny it. He'll stand there and deny it. He does a lot of stuff. He helps a lot of people in this business. He's been doing it for a long, long time. Anyway, he's my buddy. I like the guy, and you guys know I only like 5 people in the whole world, but this stuff right here is the best stuff in the world. This
oh,
curable.
Yeah,
well, I just got
I
through
have it.
using some of that, and I drug out the carpet cleaner, the degreaser last week. My
The
grandson.
tire shine.
My
Oh
favorite,
yeah, well,
my favorite product that he makes is the Visible, the glass cleaner.
I won't use
yep.
anything else now.
Well, let me tell you, I go to Bike Week because we got a place in Daytona, and that's where I'm from. And I got my bike out, and we were going to go riding that day, and I got up early, got my bike out, and I started wiping it down with the Visible. And
Hmm.
I could have used 2 or 3 different products, but my bike's got a great big windshield on it, and I sprayed it on there, and a couple guys came around and said, "What is that stuff? What is that stuff?" And I said, "That's called Visible. A friend of mine makes it. Where do you get it?" And I told Van, I said, "You need to start advertising this stuff uh, you need to start advertising this stuff for motorcycles. I mean,
Yeah.
those guys loved it. They all loved it. But this stuff right here, somebody said we need more of the hand bump. You need to call Van and get some. I got this stuff right here. I got a case of it. Another case. I already have one. And I got another case of it about 2 weeks ago. It's gone. It's gone. It never made it
Wow.
past. It never made it past the hallway right there where the front door is. UPS delivered it, and I sat it on the table right there and opened it up. Silly me, and I got this jar out of it. It's all I got. And my wife took all of it and gave it to my daughters, and it's gone. The whole case is gone. And
Oh yeah, I use the Visible on my refrigerator, and
that's what she uses that on
I
every.
use the carpet cleaner. I was asking about ink stains on my shirt, on my pockets, and Van told me to use that carpet cleaner. It works like a charm on the laundry. Oh my goodness, does it do a good job?
Chanda just said she needs more hand bob. If you go to Van's website, which is just bullsnot.com. Go on there and you can order anything you want right there. And if it's a weekday, he'll ship it either that day or the very next day. You'll have it on your front porch in 2 days. But that this stuff is amazing stuff. And my wife started using the. I gave her a can of Visible when I first started getting it, and she's got all these stainless steel appliances, in the kitchen. And she came back and she said, "Where'd you get that stuff?" And I said, "A friend of mine makes it." "Oh, I got to have more of that." She uses all of that in the kitchen now, and I don't get any more. If I get any bull snot, I have to hide it. I have to take it out. Yeah. So
The
she's.
degreaser is fantastic. The
It is.
degreaser.
I took 2 cans of the degreaser up to the shop, and I just set it on the
Well,
counter. I set it on the counter, and I told the boys, I said, "You guys try this out and tell me what you think." "Okay, okay." And I left, and I didn't come back for a couple days. And I came back, and the 2 cans were gone. And one of the mechanics walked by, and he said that degreaser shit you brought. And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Shit works. Get more." That was it.
my youngest grandson Brian got him to use the pressure washer on my fifth wheel, and bless his soul, no common sense. He didn't scrape the excess off. He blowed it towards the front of the truck. The
Oh Lord.
lines on the it's all over the lines on the pressure washer. And I'm going, oh god. So I went in the little shop and I got that degreaser. I says, here's what you clean the lines with off. Just don't. Oh god, what a mess. Oh, what a mess.
What I
And he
like,
got it on my carpet, walked through it, walked in the house, and walked on the beige carpet. But it took it up. It cleaned it right up.
he had a. What I like, my favorite one when I'm at one of the truck shows and I'm working at Van's booth helping him sell stuff. The Visible is if somebody comes up and buys 2 or 3 other things, I can always sell them a case of Visible. I go, "This is the best stuff. This is the best stuff." And Van caught me at the Guitars and Large Car show. He came over there. He said, "You're about to sell out of all the Visible." I said, "Well, is that a bad thing? I mean, selling out?" He said, "No, learn how to sell some other stuff." I said, "Well," I said, "That's my favorite
Exactly.
one because you can use that stuff." And on the glass thing, here's my big deal. Like my motorcycle windshield's pretty big. You can spray that on there, or your truck windshield, or your truck windows. You can spray that on there. Let it sit for a second, wipe it off. You don't have to go back like you do with Windex and all that other shit and do it twice to get the film off. There's no film. I mean, it's just clean, and it smells good. So,
Yeah.
I
So
use.
maybe I need to call Van and ask him for some suggestions of how we can raise some money. Um, See what he's
Well,
got to say.
you just do that, Idella, and tell him
Well,
that I'm still in line. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Got you covered.
well, I
Good.
Got you covered.
if I go to a truck show and he's there, or I work at his booth with him, and he'll. I went to Guitars and Large Cars. And he kind of pulled me back there and he said, I really like having you back here. And I said, what does that mean? He goes, that means stay and help me sell this stuff. So, but people would come up, these owners of these big, large cars and, chromed out stuff. They'd come up and buy 4 or 5 cases at the same time. I mean, they just buy everything. Yeah, I need a case of that, and a case of that, and a case of that. And there's just so many other things you can use this stuff, like his greasable, the spray grease.
Mhm.
My garage door here at my house, crack, 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 squeak, squeak, squeak. I sprayed that stuff on there. Now it's just silent. You can't hear it. My door jams on my car. Can't hear it. So, I mean, his stuff everything I've ever had, everything I've ever tried. His stuff works. I mean, it just works. So, and he's my buddy. I like Van. I like Van a lot. All right. We need to keep this up. We need to keep this thing going and get some people sending in a little bit of money to help these people. We preach about it. We talk about it. That's all I talk about on Tuesday nights is trying to get people to help each other because nobody else is helping us. Nobody else
Well,
is.
and I want the audience to understand, we don't just give the money away. We actually check every story. We call employers. We check the safer web. We do everything we can to make sure that we're not just throwing the money away and that these people really need the help.
And you and I talked yesterday. That's one thing I wanted to make sure that everybody was clear on, and you did a great job of that. I just don't think, I don't think you could have explained that any better. So, it's not like you're just sitting there handing out money to everybody that calls. You are not.
Oh,
And
hell no, I ain't worked in 7 months. I could use a little money, but
yeah,
not really. I'm all right.
good, good.
See, I took care of myself. I got the insurance. I got the disability stuff. I did everything I needed to do to make sure that I could be taken care of. And I just hope that the drivers out there understand it ain't easy. It's never going to be easy, but you got to do it one step at a time. And if you take a step forward and 2 step back, you better try for 3 steps forward next time.
Keep going. And there's so
Yep.
many of these fly-by-night companies out there, so much fraud and so
Oh
much
man.
bullshit, that, and these guys will get lured in. A buddy of mine hired a driver yesterday. Hey, Frank G Truck. Somebody said, hey, Frank. I got to check and see who everybody is. Mara posted the website on the G3 Trucks page, guys, where you can log in and do it.
Thank you.
She posted that website on there, and these companies oh, Tim, what's up, brother? Man, I can't see 8 pages all. Shaggy shared this thing all over the place, so it's bouncing off of 30 different signals right now. We can't. We just can't. These fly-by-night companies will say anything to get you in a truck. And then the minute you figure them out, or the minute they owe you a paycheck for that
Or
dollar
two.
mile they promised you, your ass is gone. They'll send
Yep.
somebody to get your truck, put you out on the side of the road. I mean, I hear it every day, every single day. They put people out. So, the lure of, 80 cents a mile, I just got to tell you guys, not very many people are paying 80 cents a mile out there, not the legitimate companies. That's
And
not,
not and if they do, it's just loaded miles only. And you
yeah,
don't get paid shit for shagging between picks and drops and all that. You don't get nothing.
yeah. So, and every kind of scam you can imagine, just to get people in a truck and get them out there, running around for nothing. And that's
Mhm.
what they do. That's what they do. So, in the first place, don't fall for it. In the second place, uh, if you do get in trouble, and you guys have heard this, if anybody's listening to this, if you do get in trouble and you call my friends at Tear, have your ducks in a row. Have your backyard in order
Yep.
because they are going to ask you about it. They are going to check up, and they're not just going to arbitrarily send you $400 or $500 just because you
No.
put them on the phone. That ain't happening.
We will check every way possible. If we and I will tell the ladies, look, I got a really bad gut feeling about this. I don't think it's true. And I'll tell them, you know what? We've got to dig deeper because if my gut says it ain't right, it ain't right. You
Yeah,
know, we're gonna figure it out.
yeah, yeah. All right, we need to talk some more. And you guys, you are welcome on here anytime, Tuesday night, whenever you want to come on here. You are more than welcome to come on here and talk about what you're doing. You know that I've been a big, big, big fan of you guys from day one,
Well,
and
thank you.
I just think that some of the other stuff you're doing on the real women in trucking side, and I don't think people realize that you guys are doing stuff for the whole industry. It's not just, you know,
Right.
it's not just
It,
women in trucking. It's not just,
and
this. It's for everybody.
it's
And
it's real women in trucking, not women in trucking, because we got to get that straight. But we do surveys. We answer questions about truck parking. I'm on the round table for Utah's truck parking. You know, giving my thoughts, my ideas, and everybody needs to be involved. If you can't park your truck and you can't get any rest, then what? You know, we have to have help doing this.
everybody talk. I hear this all day, every day. The trucking industry's falling apart. The trucking industry's going shit. If you think the trucking industry is falling apart, if you don't think there's any freight to haul out there, try getting a truck. Try getting a parking spot after 4 o'clock. Try that.
3 o'clock in the West Coast.
Yeah, try it. Try getting a parking place after 3 o'clock on the West Coast. Well, really anywhere. If you don't think people are moving freight right now, try to get a parking spot. See how that works out for you.
Well, and here's the big news. They just opened up 150 parking spots, I believe is what the article said, in Las Vegas. Okay? $30 a night. You don't get nothing. You don't have a porta potty. You don't have nothing. You have a spot to park your truck. For $30 a night, I'll sleep on a ramp, you know?
I've been a ramp wizard for years.
Me too.
Well, I like to go, like I was saying earlier. I like to go back and forth to the same places a lot. See, everybody needs to participate in their home state truck parking coalition and start engaging at
Absolutely.
the local level. Who's saying all that? Wait a minute. I got a feeling I know who it is. Hold on. That's Jess Graham. Jess, I sent you I sent you a link to get on here. Check your inbox. Jess, I sent you a link to come on here with us. You said you would come on here with us. That's what you said earlier, Jess. That's what Jess.
Come
Anyway,
on, Jess.
she's hanging out. She's hiding out somewhere. There's no telling where she's at. No telling.
It probably in the Bahamas or something.
Belize. She likes to go.
Yeah, Belize.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
God bless her. She can do it.
hey, well, Jess works to live. She doesn't live to work. She's got it
it
figured out. She knows how many trips she's got to make, how many months she's got to work, how much revenue she's got to generate, so that she can spend as much time as she has planned every year down in Belize with her mom. Her mom lives down there, has a little restaurant and a shop down there, an art shop. I mean, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Jess got a place down there. So, but she knows how much she has to work to go down there. And that's what she does. And when she's here and working, she is here and working. I mean, anybody in
Exactly.
this business that wants to be successful could take a lesson from her. They could, easy. But she's like you, Michelle. She's like me. She's like so many of the people on this page that are our friends, the people we hang out with. They know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. We're not playing on the low boards. We're not
Mm-mm.
hanging around hauling dollar freight and then blaming everybody, that we don't know how to run a company. We just go out there and work. Just go out there and work. But we got to figure this thing out. I'm going to hammer on it until we get some people signed up to start making some donations and make some challenges and have some fun. And we got it. We got to get this thing pumped back up. You guys
We
need
do.
a little cash to operate on. You really do. You really
Yes.
do.
Yes, we really do. And I really, really appreciate the help, because like I said, it's heartbreaking when you've called the company, you've done everything. The gentleman sent me the flipping text from his boss telling him on Friday, clean your stuff out of the truck. We're going to take it in the shop and repair it. You'll have it back on Sunday to make a trip. And in the meantime, I'll pay Friday night and Saturday night in the motel. So he did that. He got his check on Friday. He sent his child support and his insurance for his kids, which left him pretty close to broke. And Saturday morning, he got a text from the boss saying, "You're terminated."
Yeah.
That is so chicken shit. I'm sorry.
Nah, that's what
It
they
just
do.
is.
That's what they do. And you got a lot of these companies, and like you said, for some reason there seems to be a big concentration of that in Chicago, and there also seems to be a big concentration of that in Northern California. Anytime we have somebody call, on some of our freight from Chicago or Northern California, we don't answer the phone. It's
Well,
people.
now wait a minute. We have a terminal, a yard in Northern California, but and actually we're starting to run back your way. So we'll see what happens as soon as I get healthy.
Well, all you got to do is Idella finally bugged out on us, but all you got to do, and I'm convinced of this. And if you don't believe me, look at what a healthy specimen I am, okay? And look at Idella. We just got to get you on the liver mush, and all that shit it'll just it'll be like a cloud just lifted. It'll all go away.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I just need my foot to close up because I can't even push on a clutch, which is fine because we talked about it. My boss giving me an automatic, and I was going to give it a fair shake, but if I push on a clutch, I could rip everything open, and we just don't want to do that again.
Don't need to risk that. I had an automatic for a little while, kind of sort of by accident, because I'm old school, pig headed, and all that. But I took a truck down to Florida and back, and by the time I got back, I'm just going to tell you the truth. I was spoiled. I was spoiled rotten because with that automatic, you can pull out in traffic and get in a traffic jam. You don't care. You just sit there. You can drink coffee and smoke cigarettes and just drive. It's just. Oh God, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing for an elderly fat man. I'm here to tell you.
Well, I'm not really that fat, and I'm not a man. But my thing is, you get that coffee and that cigarette, then you always have a problem trying to key down that mic, talk on a radio.
Oh yeah, well, hell, nobody uses them anymore anyway, so I don't worry too much about that.
Right.
We're getting close to time here. We've been here about an hour. I'm glad you came on. I really, really, really appreciate you and Idella. And you guys are welcome here anytime, any place. It doesn't matter. You're welcome on here, and we'll share it out. This thing's getting shared out all over the place right now.
And I really appreciate it. I appreciate all that you do and all of your group because they're always trying to help somebody. And that's the whole point. Help somebody.
That's what.
And it doesn't matter. There's nothing in it for you. You know what? That person will pass it on later.
And you know what? And somebody asked me the other day, why you do that? Why you do that? I got to tell you, along the way, I got a lot of help along the way, and I got a lot of good advice, and I've had a lot of good luck. So
exactly.
I mean, if we can't do that for each other, we're in trouble. Everybody talks about old school this and old school values, and doing it the old school way. To me, old school, the definition of that is respect and loyalty, and it just goes. A little bit of respect goes a real long way. So,
and respect isn't just handed to you like a card. You earn it.
No, you got to work it. You got to work it. Anyway, We're going to bounce out of here, guys. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I appreciate it. If there's any questions, there's the website right there on the broadcast, and also you can see it. Mara posted on the G3 Trucks and Freight page. It's on there, the whole website for everybody to see, and I'll share that around too. Go on there and guys, it doesn't have to be $1,000, okay? Go on there and put $5 or $10 in there, and I mean, it'll be $5 or $10 very well spent because, and I hate fear. I don't ever manage my fear, but the next person that needs help might be you. You don't know.
Exactly. You don't know. You don't know.
You don't know. But listen, thanks everybody for coming. Everybody have a great week. Be safe. I'm gonna tell you one more thing before we go. People, please, if you don't hear anything else, hear this. It's hot as hell out there, and it's dangerous. Tires come apart. Trucks get hot. You do not want to be stranded out somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and it's 115 degrees because it'll kill you. Be careful. Carry some water with you. Make sure that you're hydrated. Make sure that your truck is running like it's supposed to. Take good care of yourself. Check your tires. Listen, guys, it don't take but a minute. Just walk around and take a look at them. Check your tires when you stop. Make sure you don't have one, that's pregnant or about to blow up or the tread's coming off, because that'll strand your ass out in the middle of nowhere too, and you don't want that. So it's
And
hot.
we don't want it for them.
No, it's the hottest summer on record right now. Hottest one we've had in history. So be careful out there. Look out for each other. If you see somebody else having trouble, please, 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 just stop and help them. Do something to help them. Michelle, I'm gonna bug out.
Frank, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on. Everybody, have a great weekend. Please, please, please be safe. And whatever you do, help somebody. That's what we're here for.
Thank you. Bye. How'd I do? Uh, hmm.
How's that? Fantastic.